When the American Civil War broke out in 1861, the U.S. Treasury was nearly empty. War is incredibly expensive. The Union North was spending roughly $2 million per day, an astronomical sum at the time. To solve the liquidity crisis, Congress passed the Legal Tender Act of 1862. This was a revolutionary and controversial move. It authorized the federal government to print $150 million in paper notes that were not backed by gold or silver. Why greenbacks? These notes were printed with green ink on the back to distinguish them from other bank notes and prevent counterfeiting. Legal tender status. For the first time, the government declared that this paper money must be accepted for all debts, public and private, except for custom duties and interest on public debt. Before this, there was no national currency. Over 1,600 different private banks issued their own paper notes, and their value varied wildly depending on the bank's reputation. To fund the war, President Abraham Lincoln and Treasury Secretary Salmon P. Chase needed a massive, unified influx of cash. While the greenbacks provided immediate cash, the banking system was still a mess. To create long-term stability, the government passed the National Banking Acts. Standardization created a system of national banks that were required to hold U.S. government bonds as collateral for the notes they issued. Taxing competition. In 1865, a 10% tax was placed on notes issued by state banks. This effectively forced state banks to either join the national system or stop issuing their own money, leading to a single national currency. The introduction of greenbacks was a double-edged sword. The good: it kept the Union's war machine running. It allowed for the payment of soldiers and the purchase of supplies, ultimately helping the North win the war. The bad: inflation. Because these notes weren't backed by gold, their value fluctuated based on the Union's success on the battlefield. At one point, the gold value of a paper dollar dropped to about 35 to 40 cents. The Civil War. Finance reforms changed America forever. Centralization. The federal government took control of the money supply away from private banks. IRS birth. To help pay for the war, the first Internal Revenue Service (IRS) and federal income tax were created in 1862. Wall Street growth. The massive sale of war bonds to the public taught Americans how to invest, fueling the growth of the U.S. investment market.